Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thala Unbound. I'm Adrian, and I'm the storyteller for this wonderful story with some lovely players in it. A little bit of a later start today, but we are here and up and running with episode 14. So, why don't we go ahead and actually say hello to some of our wonderful players? And we can start off with Dominic.
Hello, I'm Dominic. I do different things at the Bear Pen, art, playing mostly. And yeah, we are one adventure in the bag and probably more to go. I think that's what we're doing here.
Indeed. Hopefully that's what we're doing here. Excellent. All right. And then next up, obviously, our wonderful Di. You can tell us all about yourself and where people can find you on the interwebs.
Hi, I'm Di. You can find me on Twitter at Dichromaniac. You can also find me on Thursdays on YouTube on the Cookout TTRPG, playing in the Reclamation campaign. You can find me on Mondays on Rerolls playing Vampire the Masquerade in Cleveland. Tonight I'm playing Xaxi, monk extraordinaire. Happy to be heading back home.
Fantastic. And of course, our lovely guru.
Hey guys, everyone knows me as Golden Guru. You can find me here on Twitch. I've been streaming recently on some phone games, mostly Fate Go, at Golden Gentleman here on Twitch, and everywhere else you could probably find me as Golden Guru, or yeah. So pretty much it's all I've been practically doing. I play Duke Barley, which is a fun-loving, always on looking at the bright side, bard, and he's there to help his friends.
That he is. And of course, next up, the wonderful Anne.
Hi, everybody. My name is Anne Pierce. You can find me at _Anne Pierce_ on the socials. You can find me here on the Bear Pen, also over at Perception Studios. And I am playing Tuxil, the druid elf who is apparently now the champion of an ancient god, and we have mixed feelings about that.
Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
All good.
And of course, next up, our wonderful Nosferatu.
I'm Nos. I am mostly just bouncing around the Bear Pen and the Cookout, the RPG. On the Cookout, I am a part of the Marvel's Piercing Chaos, new Vanguard Piercing Chaos, where I play Ghost Rider Noir. And here I play Miller, the slightly unhinged fighter monk. If you would like to see me shitpost, I am on Twitter at Nosferatu_TTRPG. That's about it.
Fantastic. And then, of course, there is the amazing Ethan.
Hello, I'm Ethan. You can find me everywhere at Ethan and Dragons, playing games, running games. And today I'll be playing Valentine, the battle cleric of the group.
He is our battle cleric. All right, and as for myself, as I said, I'm Adrian, and I am the storyteller here, and you can find me on the Bear Pen telling this story on Fridays, and also Blood on the Bayou on Sundays, and yes, so I shall be playing everyone else that these lovely folks meet today. And if you would like to follow me on the socials, you can find me at the Adrian Bear. So let's dive in. When last we had met our Unifiers, they had just undergone a rather intense battle in what appeared to be an ancient mind flayer nautiloid of some sort, much larger than any structure they had encountered before, and also filled with these odd red crystals. They had begun to make their way to the heart of this ship, and they had discovered the ancient paladin Jalan Miran that had long ago fought a battle against an ancient evil, which turned out to have been this very colony of mind flayers, one that had been displaced from time, it seems, within the multiverse, as the colony itself had begun to undergo a process of further metamorphosis, attempting to merge their consciousness with that of a creature known as an Obelix. However, Jalan Miran had managed to, after a long and bloody battle, put an end, at least temporarily, to this hive, and in so doing had trapped herself and the consciousness of these beings in a sort of a stasis until they were released thousands of years later by some curious hags, which had made their way quite conveniently, some might think, into this area. Upon defeating the hive and securing the release of sorts, or an end to the vigil that Jalan had been holding for hundreds and hundreds of years, Tuxil herself had been given the blessing of becoming the chosen of Silat, the new bearer of Ishkel, once the sword of the mighty paladin Jalan Miran, now the staff of the druid Tuxil. We pick up a few days later on the road back to Merranzen. The group has just settled in to a small clearing just off the river, where they have set up their tents and bedded down for the night. It is still relatively early, but Huntmasters, alas, once everyone has settled themselves in and is in the process of enjoying some stew that has been cooked for them, looks towards everyone and says, "It's been certainly an interesting couple of days. I wanted to take a bit of time before we head back into the city to, well, number one, see how everyone's doing, and number two, try and make some sense of what exactly it is we'll be going back into." Looking to Miller and Valentine, both of you have been out of Merranzen for some time, and you did not witness everything that took place during the Festival of Remembrance. I think it's very important that you understand exactly what it is that's been going on in the city. Also, although as the Wayfinders, our connections are numerous, I myself would like the perspective of some of the rest of you that well, gone on a few different journeys, which I myself did not undertake during the time of troubles. Firstly, since you've been gone, Valentine and Miller, you had likely heard stirrings of the dissidence or dissatisfaction that had been brewing in Merranzen. A group that had come to call themselves the Oxala Lives movement. Yes.
I've heard rumblings.
A number of us had found quite a bit of concern at this. Not so much in the idea that people want to come together and discuss points of view or perhaps things that might be wrong with the city. That is entirely normal, and I think right for people to question what is happening in their own homes. It's more been the manner in which they have been conducting themselves. And you can see that a sort of sad and dour look falls on the Huntmaster's face. That day was chaos. Pure, unadulterated chaos. I had been spending some time with General Cadnell, trying to make sure that those pilgrims coming in from the other cities were at least unaccosted and getting into the city as they should. However, when the fighting broke out, I was close to the field of growers at the time. Groups of these cloaked figures had come in and were attacking almost indiscriminately. Children, the elderly, didn't seem to matter to them. Mostly aiming for targets of buildings which would house those who would be unable to help themselves, thus necessitating the bulk of our efforts be placed there, away from their true goal. When the light began, thousands of people lost their lives. If it weren't for the work of Lady Xanova containing the blaze of whatever that was that they set off, I'm not sure how much more the city itself would have been affected. I understand that the area is still quarantined of sorts, but there is desire to head into the epicenter of where the explosion took place and see what can be found. And looking specifically to Miller, there is a difference between those wanting what is right and those attacking the innocent to prove some kind of point. I think perhaps you make up your own mind. That would benefit you to hear from some of the others what they experienced, and honestly, I would like some more information myself. Anything you feel willing to share. Looking to all the others.
Boink. In that Deal was like fixing his loo. He's like, oh, my bad. Puts it down after making that little boink sound. Puts it down. He's like, well, in our investigation on out of the 5 or like the 3 or 5 ones that we uncovered their masks, these seem to be all of noble houses or wealthy houses of the Undercity. They're all drow. It's like every time we unmasked one, it just so happened to be that way. And I was kind of hoping it wasn't that. Not trying to, point fingers or anything. It's just looking real bad for them. Lady, oh my God, what was her name? Oh, Lady Mission. What was the last character we had?
Lady
Character that was
Salome.
girl? Yeah, it was Salome. I couldn't remember Salome. I was gonna say Enchante. I'm like, wait, no, that's the guildmaster. So yeah, Lady Salome was not too happy about that, sadly. But don't worry, we investigated her father and her family, and they're fine. She was 100% with it, sadly, but they're okay. And I'm gonna just go like that too. Aunt Master Celeste. I was like, but we do have suspicion of that one girl, the young one. I couldn't remember her name, because she seemed not to be bothered by the slightest of the loss of life of her people or someone else's, which and it's not like she was taught to that she was above them, because her grandmother snapped at her. So we do have suspicions of suspicious other characters in the Undercity we were looking into until we dealt with this problem of missing children. All of that information is already known by the headmaster and the assistant and headmaster of the Guild of Unifiers. The gnome dude's the assistant manager, right? Like thing.
You're talking
He's
about
like the number 2.
Xaxi Resvin?
Yeah, he's like second in command, right?
He's the steward, yes. He's the steward of the Guild of Unifiers. So is this as a player or as a due thing, not remembering the name of the...
That's a player thing.
Okay, so would you remember
I'm an
her
idiot.
name?
Yeah, Dew would remember that. Dew's good
Okay.
at memory stuff.
Okay, it's Philandria.
I feel bad. Philandria, there you go. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
Philandria of House Metzler.
Yeah, and here tell him that. Yeah, I don't have my notes with me today, so
It's all good.
oh my bad. But yeah, Dew would tell that to Huntmaster Salas. As we were actually invited to her gala that correct me if I'm wrong, we missed it.
You have not missed it. You wanted to try and get to Elin as soon as possible, which is why you arranged for the teleportation to get you there, so that it would not take you too long to actually get back.
So I'm like, yeah, Master Celeste, she's still on our roster of looking into. And we're just gonna see who else is at that gala to see what they're all talking about.
So
we might bump into some of our other hooded friends there.
How is it that you came upon these individuals that you managed to unmask and sequester? I've been quite busy myself. There's a lot that I do not know.
Well, they did, and like you said, they're attacking indiscriminately. We intervened, and we were stronger than they are.
Duh.
They decided to pick a fight with someone they couldn't win against. And then we did capture one alive, but then he ended up killing himself. So.
And where was this exactly?
It was by where the Chancellor. Well, that one specifically was by where the Chancellor was when he was attacked, because he like bit his tongue or something and killed himself because we caught him.
I understand you don't have your notes here. That was not there at all.
Where was that? Because I know we went from where the chancellor was to the vault.
Yes, this was one of the people that you had found in the vault.
Oh, it was in the vault. Okay, same session.
Yes.
That was kind of a quick, a few minutes thing we ran there.
Yeah, Zalas
Yeah, there we go.
Zalas is unaware of the vault and all of those incidents. He's been busy. So
weren't we supposed to? Weren't we told not to talk about when we were in the vault though by the headmasters? Did
I
we get
don't.
clearance for that?
Have to
I
ask,
thought we weren't supposed to say that.
ask Miller to ask about his clearance.
Hey, Miller, how high is Master Zalas's security clearance? Does he have the almost all access pass? He's all access pass.
Zalas is the hunt master of the Guild of Wayfinders within the city, so that is the highest position in the Wayfinders. It is definitely up to you all to decide exactly what you would like to tell him. It is, however, also a very good opportunity to bring both Valentine and Miller up to speed on everything that has been happening.
Okay, if anyone wants to take this from Duke, because I don't know, I can't find my notes right now. You're 100% all right with me. And I just tell them, yeah, we went to the vault. Nothing was stolen except for, but they looked through records of oddly the Chancellor's family line. But that's all we found. All the ancient artifacts of weapons and stuff was still there untouched. So it wasn't like they were trying to find something big, some big bad weapon. And one of the the one brass dragon that was a guild master was injured and that opening the gate.
I'm absolutely confused now. We do not have a brass dragon that is one of our guild masters.
I don't think they're always a dragon.
And what vault are you talking about? Honestly, I'm going to need you to fill in some more pieces for me, please.
Okay, it's the one of the guild. I always get these two mixed up. The Guild of Keepers, the ones that have the vault, right?
Yes.
It's their vault that it requires two of the guild it takes two of the the strongest people in Merranzen to open it.
It was essentially an underground library, correct?
Yes. Ah.
And I remember there being sleeping vampires.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of those too, but they really didn't bother us.
Ah. Right.
And we
Okay.
think they were after records or information. They didn't quite find maybe what they were looking for.
I forgot
was
what
it?
else we found down there. There was something that was talking to us.
I was very distracted by the quaddle down there, so.
Was it a Coatl?
All right.
Oh yeah, it was a Quetzalcoatl, yeah. Yeah, there's a Quetzalcoatl, that was the
A
Guardian.
Coatl, yeah. So
He almost got
He was
injured. He almost got
injured.
injured. Yeah, he was messed up bad.
all right, so for some reason you made your way to the vault of the keepers where
It had been
Lydia and
breached.
Shante- Oh yeah, it was
it
breached
had been
by
breached.
something.
We were giving chase. It seems that perhaps the explosions and death were merely a distraction for a small team to get into that vault and access something down there. We gave them chase, but lost them before we could figure out what they were after.
Oh yeah, one more thing. They got in there without physically breaking into it because Lady Enchante looked into the barriers and they were still intact. So whoever helped them was able to bypass the barriers and get them in there. So they had to find a loophole how to get in there, what we don't know about, because we had to get in there by using the two guild masters.
Which is why we started to suspect perhaps members of some of the high-ranking families in the city.
I'm not sure who else. I'm not sure who would be able, who's able to know about the secrets of that vault better than Lady Enchantée that maintains it.
Well, the vault is available to the public with sufficient advanced preparation time. And yes, it requires either 2 out of the 3 of Lady Mechanolith or Lady Shan or Lady Xaloa. Lady Xaloa was busy, and you were saying you had a brass dragon with you.
It didn't seem like any preparation like that had been made.
Believe
Yeah.
I am starting to put some pieces together. Shan has always been sly about her true nature.
And the fact that she appears human, despite all odds.
I'd always assumed it was some form of illusion magic. She was a changeling of some sort, I'm not sure.
Player question, so I can timeline wise. What was it? I keep thinking and then I keep forgetting. Was it after the vault that we had the dealing with the Lemuria? Is that after time chronologically?
No, that was before.
Okay, I was just trying to place it. Got it.
Yeah, that was quite a bit before.
I thought, okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Important sign. We also at some point during the festival before it all went downhill, we actually ended up. What was the god of chaos again's name?
Quetzal.
Quetzal. Oh yeah. We also met Quetzal, or someone claiming to be Quetzal. So the gods are up and about.
As you say,
what are you talking about? Oh yeah.
As you say this, Stu, it everyone that hears it is just sort of like, oh yeah. Anyway, and they continue talking. They completely disregard it.
I was just filling up. And Huntmaster still lost to see, if he didn't know the gods were up and about.
It is it is the nature of what you experienced at the Carnival of Wonders that only you are able to remember what happened inside the tent.
Hmm.
And
That's
whenever
right,
you speak about it, it is as if people literally just gloss over it completely and continue with their conversation.
Okay, I didn't know that was how that would affect Huntmaster's loss. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened. That's very that's very nice too. Yes. So from what I understand, this group, this Dargo, as their leader calls himself, arranged all of this as some distraction to get into the vault.
Deadly distraction too.
He also killed one of his own men in there because when we got there, his man was dead, and the only person in there with him was him because only 2 people were in there. At least what the Quaddle told us. So for whatever reason, he killed his own man.
Clearly, they do not have any regard for the sanctity of life. Killing thousands of people to achieve a goal.
The Coatl itself is quite a powerful being. I've visited the vaults twice in my lifetime. How?
Well, it's not like, and they have some really nice they have some really nice equipment like this, and shing. And he goes, "This is one of the big players was using this this bad boy." He hits down like the the executioner blade.
Mm.
He goes, "I've never seen something like it. Have you?"
He takes the blade itself and has a look at the weight of it and the make of it. it in itself is not something that is beyond our scope of creation. And he hands it back to you.
Mhm. What concerns me is what we found out when we looked into what kind of enchantments it had on it. It has powerful necromantic energy coming from it. Can even it can even help. Can even hold healing to a certain amount.
The Enders and the Bringers are known to use some things that can be quite similar on occasion.
Indeed. I have a blade just like that.
Oh, neat. I guess I know. I guess I really never pried too much into the equipment of the other guilds. I was more of meeting the people and writing songs and stories about their endeavors when I spent my time with them.
So, is there anything else the Quattle gave you? Any more information?
If there is, I'm unaware as a player at the moment. These are going
The
deep into
creature
my
was
bag.
ashamed and very, very hurt.
Oh yeah. He also said he didn't realize the power that was coming from the leader until he lost in combat, because he said he didn't he seemed arrogant. So when he was about to attack him, he misjudged his power and he lost the fight. So maybe he has some sort of ability, skill, or item that helps him mask how much or whatever they call it, or however they measure power here in for Merranzen.
His true
I'm not sure how
ability.
I guess how that goes. We call it the root of life.
Aesthetic levels,
trying-
yeah.
Speech level.
Measuring aesthetic levels.
Okay. I don't know if I don't know the Quattle's I know the Quattle's stat block, and I don't know as he has the ability to measure someone's life.
Tuxil, you also remember something that the Quattle had said to you as you had spent some time tending to their wounds afterwards. You had, well, the Quattle had said to you that there was something about the way in which the leader walked that did not come across as being the way somebody with an elven body would walk.
It suddenly occurs to me that maybe he did mention something about the way that Dargo, I have that correct?
The Argo, yeah.
The way that he moved, it wasn't right. It wasn't elven, or maybe didn't even feel human. He definitely misjudged whatever this leader is.
It's also possible Doggo could be more than one person, because he also said that he spoke of Doggo being in a third person or as a group of people, because when he spoke about their actions. I remember there was something he had weird. It was either a weird character trait, or we were just planning on that there was like, if he dies, someone else would take up the spot or something. There's like a bunch of different weird stuff with that guy.
That was more along the lines of what his sycophants had said outside of the vault. You know that that you cannot stop our uprising kind of effect. You know, if there are, if you kill one of us, another of us will rise. That kind of idea or ideal.
I don't know if it's kind of more of a leader, a leader. Doggo's more of the title of the leader, so I'm just wondering. I was putting that a little out there, maybe for you. Just for you, Miller. For you, you to run wild with your, conspiracies and stuff.
Or just kind of gives like a.
I
It's
do
like the
remember-
math in his head, just like.
No, he's more like not in the mood for this kind of look.
Thala is home to many entities, and they come from everywhere, anywhere. It's entirely possible that Doggo has made a deal with something to achieve some sort of goal.
Or even worse, he could be something from somewhere else. It's not very. It's not very irregular for us to have people from different worlds here. And there's a lot more bigger things out there in the multiverse than just us.
I bet Ipswich is involved. I have a feeling.
Ipswich.
Who's Ipswich again?
So
The
go
little
ahead.
imp.
Oh,
let me get this straight. We have pursued some sort of enemy that is after some sort of information that exists somewhere. We have almost nothing to go off of.
well, we do
We have
have
some of
well,
their robes.
Well, when
Yeah.
you put it like that, it makes us seem almost incompetent.
well, I mean, we
Much
do
more
have a
not-
lead.
than
We
that.
do have a lead
do
of
know.
the gala. It's not like we're totally empty-handed.
Do
It
I
is
remember?
more, I'm trying to push this towards our next step, a solution to these problems, because we can talk in circles all day, but what we need is action.
Indeed.
Well, we can go to the gala and see if she has any more friends that have similar ideals.
So
Because
I
we
think you might be
there
right.
There might be people inside of our guilds that question the power, because they were also questioning the power of the guild leaders and how they run the city.
in terms of note taking, etc., I will help you all remember the things that you have uncovered thus far. Right. So you had found on some of the bodies of the people that you had killed, those who belonged to this Oxal Lives movement. They often wear robes, cloaks at least, which seems to be made up of always different kinds of fabric, but in stripes of sort of an off purple, a sort of burnt yellow, and kind of an off white, and they go in stripes like this. Most of the assailants had been wearing robes up to, these cloaks had been of just 3 of these stripes. Some of those you had found within the vault when you had gone there, as this vault in Merranzen, in the Guild of Keepers, houses a lot of the most ancient knowledge, so it is magically sealed because it creates a very sort of like hermetically sealed environment so that the scrolls and such will not decay and that everything will be kept just peak condition. It is also where pretty much all of the humans that are vampires that are not currently active, those who either wish to be taking the time sleeping until a cure is found, or those that just do not wish to wake, or those that are taking a break from being a vampire, their coffins are housed there in this area. So it is actually very well protected. They had made their way into this vault, which is by all accounts impossible. There's no way you can breach that magic, and yet they had somehow inside the vault in one of the chambers there, in sort of like one of the main antechamber, which there were some platinum golems which are housed there to protect things. The one of the walls had sort of like a semicircular half indentation taken out of it, as if something had just appeared there. The golems themselves had been frozen in place by a sphere which seemed not really sure, maybe a piece of technology of some sort, which had disrupted their powering enchantment, and they were sort of frozen in place. The people that you had found and removed the masks off, a lot of them had been of different noble houses amongst the drow, but there had also been some which were from some of the more wealthy merchant families, which was interesting. These always seemed to be the people of rank. The ones that you had found within the city that you had just killed, or those whose faces were not covered and not masked, were, you know, not only drow. There were other races and such, but not masked. The section which is at the lowest part of the vault, which the Coatl itself presides over, some of the most powerful and ancient artifacts and some of the oldest records on Thala, as far as we know. The section that had been sort of plundered and disturbed had been of the noble families, the lines of the noble families. Specifically, what was interesting was that someone had been looking into the records of the Arch-Chancellor's family, the Arch-Chancellor being of the Platinum Dragonborn. And the Coatl had mentioned that it seems that whatever this leader, this Dargar, had found had not been to their liking, and they had an altercation with one of the only other of their lieutenants that had managed to make it that far into this vault, and had killed them, and then also had used some kind of device or something to also exit. At that point in the vault, there was the same sort of semicircular indentation in a portion, almost like I want you to get the image in your mind of that divot that is left when they use Terminator style time travel technology. That's kind of the image that I'd like you to get in your mind. So this had been discovered about Dargar. The other things which you had all discovered as well was that on at least two of these members, you had found a symbology. One of them had a what looked to be a holy pendant of it looked to be 3 cords which were intertwined. This same symbol is something that you have now seen on some of the reliefs inside the Mind Flayer Nautiloid, which had been on some of the depictions on some of the Illithid, on these bas reliefs. The same image had also been brought to your attention by Emaris as being what had been worn by the assassins that had killed some of his family and absconded with his sister from his home within the Astral Sea. So this symbology has come up 3 times. So you have currently in your position, at least at the guild, you have you had taken the orb device, which had disabled the golems. You have this holy symbol, which has these 3 things, these 3 cords on it, which you had brought to Tharizdun to see if Tharizdun could have a look at it. And then you had your visions and such as well. And do with your meeting that you had with Quetzal, who is the god of chaos. He had said that there is something that she sees which is beyond his sight. It is like a rock that is in the stream of the flowing threads of fate, and she can't see what it is. So this is some of the evidence that you had gotten before. You had also, from some of the investigation that you had done within the Undercity, especially with Amaris looking into some of these tales of the ancient bard Justin Lecal, who had mentioned in some of his various tales that he had discovered apparently ancient ruins far to the south where he had fought numerous different monsters and such, and there are definite excavations that take place in this area, this sort of like mountainous area. The interesting thing about the specific area is that it is in a place in the world which should be, by all accounts, tropical. It is that place that it should be tropical. But this series of valleys and mountains is absolutely glacial. But so that has always been a geographic anomaly, so it sends a lot of people there, and there have always been rumors about like ancient cities and stuff that have been lost there. Amaris had gone through some of the records and some of the maps and such, and this book of tales of Justin Lecal, and had found that same symbol which had been roughly sketched into apparently where the ancient bard had been on his tales, but no one knows exactly for sure where this place is that Justin Lecal had apparently visited, because he was a bard that said many, 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 many things. 95% of them probably made up. That
You would never make
is
something up.
that is all of the evidence that you've acquired so far. Yes, Grand Matron Ilya of House Metzler had been very upset that Philandria, her granddaughter, had not been showing the proper deference towards the dead and the respect that is should be given to those that have died in these attacks that had happened on Merranzen. Grand Matron Ilya herself had lost her daughter and her son-in-law a couple of years before, which was difficult for her because it left her in the position of being unable to ascend to the Undying Court, because now the next in line, which would have been her daughter, was dead, and Philandria at that stage, and still at this stage, is nowhere near what she considers to be worthy of becoming the next matron of House Metzler.
Didn't she have an older brother too?
A younger brother by the name of Chiron.
Yeah, wasn't she? Didn't she pass it on to Chiron, because she was talking about how he went missing, that she would have made him matriarch or something, because he's off doing. He went missing.
Chiron is not missing. No.
Oh, who was the guy that went missing then? That she was looking for.
I think it is what you are thinking about is the parents, because they had died in a boating accident. The bodies were never recovered.
Yeah. That might have been, yeah.
So
Okay.
I know it's been a while. You might not have your notes there, but that is everything.
Awesome.
But as far as
I
I'm
just realized
aware,
we
go
haven't
ahead.
told anybody about the ball, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure that's still in Dude's inventory, at least on his character sheet it is.
The ball?
Yeah, the ball stopped the golems.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were going to screw around with it to see what was because we pretty much it was like the Treasure
There's
Planet
like-
ball.
Yeah. But as far as I knew, we were about getting ready for a gala to see if we could suss out any more of these guilty
Mhm.
parties, right?
Yeah.
So that, as far as action, V, is
So Valentine, do you have your Sunday best with you? Are you willing to go to a party?
You think I'm not always in my Sunday best? Always bring a sword and shield to a gala. You never know what excitement might happen.
True. Just take it out the door. You just have to take a cane sword with you. I hear those are quite interesting.
Well, good luck
I'm
with
not
that.
one. I'm not one for the underhanded tactics.
I just won't say it's underhanded. I say it's more classy. Right? Right, Shock? It's called class.
I don't
not
know if that's the
underhanded.
word I'd use.
I've never been to a gala. What do people do?
They dance and they drink and they talk.
They talk shit about each other.
Yeah,
Oh,
talk.
do you have to go to a gala to do that?
Well, it's more of
Yeah.
a it's more it's like a party, but just for rich and people rich and entitled, because they don't let everybody in. Instead of some parties and festivals, everybody's welcome. Not everybody's welcome in galas.
It's
You
a
have to be
chance.
some high
It's a
standing or
chance
know
for
someone high
it's
standing.
a chance for the rich people to pretend that they're not trying to show who has a bigger dick or something.
It's all a big game, really, of social status.
True.
And you have to do your best to be the winner at the end of it. Or at the very least, not the loser.
How do you know
Yeah.
if you've won?
You find out.
Trust me,
One way or another.
yeah, you'd know. It's one of those feelings you get that you know.
Well, I don't think I like this game.
It's not a good game. Don't play it. We're not there to play their game. We're not there to play their reindeer games. We're there to investigate and save people's lives.
Oh, reindeer games are fun though.
I'll admit these are not situations in which I excel at. However, it seems like this is the best course of action to get more information, and perhaps we can keep an eye out or for anyone wearing this symbol or this color scheme, and perhaps in the location some of us could split off and investigate if we think that the hosts may be hiding something.
Excellent
Well, we
plan.
have one. We have a duplicate. We could make duplicates. We have one. If we wanted to carry one with us and show it to what we think are the right people.
We should definitely bring this to the attention of Guild of Unifiers. I feel like we can trust them with all of this information, especially with what we found in that illithid, that strange cave. Sort of ties things together. This problem is older than I think any of us anticipated. But as far as waving this information out at the gala, feel like most of our suspects may be there.
No, I mean
Question,
to
how-
pretend to be one of them is
Hmm.
I think is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
How many days do we have? Like, player question importance. How many days do we have until then?
Oh, you're still about 2 days out from Merranzen, and the gala would happen about 5 to 6 days after that.
Question. Can I contact anybody from the Guild of Makers with the pen from the Unifiers?
Not here, because you're not within the confines of Merranzen yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
But once
I
you're
forgot we could do
once you're within the city, you are able to contact at least any of the guild masters. But it does work in such a fashion that you have to have met this person before, and they would need to have one of these pins. One of the guild masters that you have met within the Makers is, I believe you met Ninettle.
Yeah, the lady with a bunch of arms.
Yes. The Mechanolith, I believe.
Oh yeah, I miss our bro. That one guy that's not good at anything. He was our bro.
Tunak.
Yeah, Tuna's our bro. He's the main man on the plan.
Indeed.
He's my inside man of the Makers.
Aside from going to this ball, which again, good luck. I have no desire to join you on that. I would also remind you, if you have not been told already, that the Arch-Chancellor is due to have an inquisition of sorts into the affairs that took place during the festival.
Who is looking after the Chancellor right now, I wonder?
The nobility have their own god. It's always been such with the Arch-Chancellor.
Oh, I thought he was protected by the guild masters, because I thought they're the biggest, scariest people around.
I wouldn't say the guilds are supposed to be big and scary. The nobility take care of theirs. There are obviously the City Watch and the City Guard, which are more aligned to the nobility, and the guilds take care of the affairs which are directly related to their purview. But no,
I guess technically we gave an oath to protect all the citizens, but I thought the Arch-Chancellor was got special treatment. My bad.
Yeah, no, the structure of the nobility is removed from the structure of the guilds.
Okay.
So, above the table. So you're saying the aristocracy has their own private police force?
And their own armies.
Yeah, let's burn it down.
What?
Sorry, that was
The
the
Arch-Chancellor was nice to you.
The guilds are very much guilds. They happen to be quite powerful, and they have quite a lot of powerful individuals within them, but they are very much guilds. The Makers started as just mostly the Makers started amongst the dwarves before the dwarves began interacting with other people. They make things. Yes, you have a question.
Yeah, imagine this, all right? The guilds are businesses, all right? And they have security. Nobility has the actual military and police, all right? We have authority as long as they're on their property, but as soon as they're off, that is the city guard's business. And we just do other things within their confines.
Yes. So, for example, the keepers exist very much as a force of finding old knowledge and keeping knowledge and artifacts and history. They also exist because they are the record keepers to keep the guilds in check. They act as like internal police for the guilds. So, that's why you will often find a keeper working closely with any of the other guild members, because they are policing them, as it were.
Are they kind of like the ones that is it the Guild of Unifiers? That's basically if one of the guilds or some guild member broke the rules or something, it has to be judged for it. They go to the Guild of Unifiers.
Yeah. The Guild of Unifiers,
the lawyers and the
Guild of Unifiers exists because the people did become very much aware of how much power the guilds actually have. And the Unifiers exist to keep unity between all the guilds. and also the people of Merranzen. So that's their job. So if any of the other guilds are stepping out of line, then their job is to do that. But it's also the job of the Unifiers to do things that the people might need, which don't exactly fall under the purview of any specific guild.
Mm.
So a gala is our next step to gather information there. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, Miller. We've been traveling together for a little bit. How do you think of this grand conspiracy and parting with the aristocrats?
He just gives a house shrug. If people make deals with things they're not supposed to be dealing with, there will be dealt with. That's as far as I go.
I'm not sure if I'd call that optimism, but I like it regardless.
Don't worry, Miller, I'll be your wingman. You can find someone to turn that frown upside down and pat him on the back. Yeah, got you.
Miller grabs his hand. Don't. Just lets it go.
Well, I can also suggest that if this Dargo and his lieutenant are supposed to, at least according to this group's general philosophy, be presenting the truth of the gods and the guilds to the people and the populace, they might find cause to be upset, understanding that it is seemingly, at least thus far, the rich and the nobles that are in charge of their movement. It might be worth digging into some of the underground areas.
Oh yeah, here's the just in case if you need it, Master Salas. Here's a poster that I found during the festival. It says, Quetzal lives, the guilds are a lie.
It says the guilds are a lie. Oxala lives.
Really? Oh, there you go. It's backwards.
Yeah.
I see. It was upside down.
I think perhaps Oxala can live and the guilds can still be a source of good in this world. Gathering like-minded people together to create and learn and support the people. I do not think those two things are in conflict.
Seems.
Tuxil, you might be muted.
And you're muted.
It's not really the people that are dressing up in the robes and creating havoc, is it? It's the nobles, it's the rich, it's people who might have a bone to pick with the guilds.
There might be others. There has to be more. There was thousands of them. We don't have that many nobles and rich people, right? There had to be some commoners. Sure, there could have been people working for them, but you never know.
Seems to be some kind of reverse revolution with the aristocrats at the heart of it.
Well, someone has to pay for what they're doing.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. Someone's either funding it or they're trying to topple the guild, or it's kind of rare that the people who are controlling the reins would be screaming anarchy.
Unless Tuxil, you've gone through quite the change recently, which makes me curious. How many others like you have gone through that? Do you feel much of a change in your personality?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I can see it both ways, where it's a good thing and maybe something to mourn. I can see both sides of that. It's going to take some getting used to.
Something to keep in mind.
Hey, Valentine.
Hmm.
Out of curiosity, as a God-believing man, what would you say if your God, if you asked him for clarity or, to help you with your knowledge, and he said, and him being all-knowing says, there's a blind spot coming that he doesn't know how to, that he doesn't know what's gonna happen. What would be your response to that as he sips tea?
What? So if my God were to tell me that they cannot predict what is to happen next, is that what you mean?
Yeah. When usually it's unheard of that they can when they aren't able to see something.
Then whatever it is, I will carve it myself, if they cannot themselves. Or at least die trying. World
you-
is really
Well, that's neat. Well, that's all. That's
well.
the question. I was concerned.
The world is what we make it, really. The gods do so much for us and help us create it in our own images.
I guess I
If
was
they
just
cannot foresee what it is, then we will foresee it for them.
Well, the gods need our help as well. It goes both
Exactly
ways.
right.
Well, I guess I was more concerned if your God gave you a premonition as a warning because they were concerned of what relies on that area they can't see.
If you're asking if I would be worried, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I would see it as a challenge. And I've overcome many things to get where I am today, and I'll continue to do so.
Here, here. Bonsai.
We haven't really had a chance to talk much, Valentine, about your chosen God or your devotion or why you follow the path you do. Seems like as good of a time as any.
I've been following Imix as long as I can remember, which isn't as long as I would think. It's a lot missing. Nothing about childhood or such. All I remember is waking up and being told what my life really was. And then being told that I was worshipping something I didn't believe in. And now I follow Imix, hopefully to guide me to remembering some things.
Is that what took a shining to me?
Do not worry, Valentine. Even if the Valentine you used to be, the Valentine that I knew, and me and Chalk knew, isn't up here right now. He's still in here. You still, even when you woke up, you still knew with complete clarity that you still loved your wife and daughter, even though you didn't remember their faces. So that has to count for something.
It's interesting. I still have that, but who I used to be doesn't really matter anymore. It's who I am today. We'll see what
I
happens through it.
understand that quite a bit.
Is that so? Why is that?
I, at some point, made a choice to become something. I devoted myself to an idea, to a goal, to the pursuit of knowledge and what is possible with the mind and the body and that came at a cost. And like you, there are things I don't remember because that was the price I had to pay, is to forget. And sometimes you wonder if it's worth it.
If you are to devote yourself to something fully, sacrifices are inevitable. To sacrifice a part of oneself is one of the purest and most selfless things you can do. If what you used to be truly believed in that they were willing to sacrifice it, you must be on the right path.
I must say I agree. So as Valentine said, sacrificing your own self-interests can even you can even evolve or go past even what is capable of you on your own.
What is the guild you represent, Xaxi?
I am part of the Guild of Knowers. We pursue knowledge and information about life and what is capable and what is possible. And I look over to Jacques and the things that we've accomplished, the people we could save, what we could do, bring, ideally, eventually find a cure for all of those poor souls that are still trapped in that state of death.
Even if we come under different names, Unifiers, Knowers, Bringers, Growers, really we're all the same. We all have different things pushing us forward: faith, science, our own self-interests. Inevitably, regardless of what we do, our journey assists those who come after us.
Does anyone else find that goo that we found in the place everywhere, just like everywhere, like in the shoes and stuff, as he's like dumping it out? Because I've been having a problem with that ever since we left the stomach of the belly of the beast.
I don't wear clothes.
I was wondering what the.
What? Are you sure? I thought he had a loincloth on.
Nah,
wait,
he's
Jacques has
furry.
been naked this whole time?
Hopefully, in the best world.
Oh, I'm
my.
sorry. I thought he had stuff on. Like
I'm sure he has some minor shit.
Well, I mean, I
My
didn't know
point
if
is,
you were like one of
red
those
goo.
anime characters, just have the fur, and it's like, well,
I look at my
I can't
hooves.
see anything, so whatever.
Like, no, my shoes are fine.
Oh, he just has like horseshoes. Oh, we're good here.
Well, now that you mention it, I've been finding it in odd places, yes. But thankfully, we are right by a river.
Hated it. I hated that whole thing.
Oh, trust me, trust me, Miller. We once went to this forgotten city that had green ooze that petrified stuff, and then we met some guy that probed into our mind and showed us visions, and nobody liked it. It was all about your worst fears or something that traumatized you. It was something else out there. It was very unfun, and I didn't like it.
Well, I know a lot of things that are unfun, but
it was weird. I had a hallucination that I was drowning, even though I can breathe underwater. Isn't that weird? Just look up. I just feel like he just looked at him like, wait, what the?
I don't know what to tell you.
It's like if you're falling, but you're a bird that can fly. Weird, huh?
You can see that there is like a million thoughts going through Miller's head. Like, should I say something? Should I keep it to myself? Like, I don't want to talk about it, but it kind of feels like I should. It's kind of sitting there like doing that with his face.
his reaction the first time was that when he's just like the imagination in my head when he just looks at him like, what's the best?
I look to both Miller and Valentine and say, I don't know what your future plans are for once we get back to Merranzen, but I can say that being part of this little group is never boring.
If that's what you call it. I've been with a group like this before. Didn't end well.
For you or for them?
For them
Mm.
and for me.
It's okay. On Miller, you're always welcome here amongst good close friends.
It kind of just does like a.
Don't worry,
Rubs
Miller.
it.
I think you're a good guy. Deep down, I know you have to. I know, like under that, that edgy exterior. If you keep chiseling down and chiseling down and chiseling down even more, and a lot more after that, and you keep going, the might just
Okay.
be a
Okay, I
smirk.
get it. I get it. I get it.
Valentine's gonna lean over to Jock and say, I'm gonna put money on Miller and see what happens. What you want to take that bet?
I
Do
don't know. I kind of vote on Miller as well.
Okay.
I'm going to.
She
I'm
would
gonna
have
do.
money on Jacques.
Do
Who's shot she putting his money on?
Jacques, of course.
Oh, I wasn't part of the. Well, I'll get it.
Oh, sorry.
Let's
Let's
You're
take
Sasha
it.
comes in, be like, I'll put
Logical
money on you.
processing
And then,
just
yeah.
went out the window. ADHD moment. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Continue.
do
We can make a bet and put money on whether or not we think she'll go make a bet.
Why don't we do that?
Miller just kind of looks at Do. Do
Yes.
I'm going to make an exception for one of my rules.
Okay.
I promised myself I would never talk about it,
Okay.
but I watched all of my friends die over a deal with the devil. Please do not try to chip away at whatever I build up because you're not gonna like what's on the other end of it.
He put he's just gonna kind of put his arm, like cross his arms between it, kind of when you clap your hands together and you rest them on your legs. He's like, well, you see, dear friend Miller, I've already made the decision to I like to bring the light, like the sun's light that was shown upon me. I like to bring to the darkest places where darkest depths of the ocean. Like I said, I want to see the Valentine that I once knew smile again, and it's like, and I'd be delighted to one day bring you out of the dark cave you dug yourself in and see what it looks like to have a Miller smile.
Is he always
So-
like this?
Life is trust me, life is worth living.
Zala sort of leans a bit to Miller and says, I was with on that expedition into that city he was talking about. Honestly, he does this all the time. It's just constant.
Yeah. Actually, I work on Master Celeste too. I've had him smile a few times too. I'm not sure if he was
Is he?
grinning because he had malicious intent, but he smiled for me before.
I'm imagining the biggest page in Dew's like little book of diary is just a times Huntmaster Zalasta smiled and then just score marks. It's like 3. Just 3 there.
And he has a picture of it, and it's like you just see one of those anime one of those anime characters smile and like, oh god, stop it.
There's like 3 and only
when it's
2 of them are
when it's like
agreed.
crooked and stuff, and it's like you look like it looks like a
Miller
couple
is
you.
just like that. Is he always like this?
Yeah.
Miller.
Or is that just because he imprinted on me?
Mm.
It's not just you.
It's It's different for me, but, and I know this is probably isn't any consolation for what you've been through, but as a soldier, in my time, I've seen many of my companions fall beside me. And it doesn't get any easier. I'm not trying to console you. I'm just trying to tell you that I partially understand what you've been through. And the fact that you're still standing here says a lot.
I'm still looking for the person that sold us out.
Oh. In all seriousness, and you see like the tone, Deuce tone, turn. It was one of the reasons why I became a bard was because I respected the heroes of the past that I've fallen, or even the ones that or even the ones from the guilds that I knew that never came back. And I believed if I knew this story and I continued telling them, then truly they would never die. I guess that's the way how I keep all my fallen comrades walking beside me.
It's not the way I do it.
I'm going to stop you right there, Miller, because remember, your friends don't weigh you down even after they pass. They're the ones walking beside you, pushing you forward. They give you strength, not weakness.
There is a reason I don't like talking about it, dude. And it goes way, way beyond what you think.
Well, you don't have to talk about it now because we've only known each other for a few days. But as long as you do know me, if you have to confide in someone if you do have to confide or trust me more to help you with whatever you're going through, or at least if my words at least give you somewhat of the strength to stand back up, you do with what you want with them.
I'd much rather that Xaxi experiment on me.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Wow. I think I'll
I'm
just
actually-
leave that one alone.
Yeah,
Is that
are you
code for
kidding?
something? I'm not
I'm
sure.
sorry, because that went real weird for a second.
That she experiments on it. What?
Yeah, he's gonna
That's
he's
like
gonna,
her
like,
job.
Dude's gonna like
An undertaking to bring someone back from a terrible state is not something that I would feel comfortable attempting alone. But more important, if you are unwilling, I will make a note and your wishes will be respected.
wait, are you saying like people have died in your experiments, Sashi?
I'm saying that, glance over to Jacques, there are things to be learned, and sometimes those questions can only be answered under certain circumstances. And while we would never force someone to help expand our knowledge, there is a chance at perhaps a cost that you could regain life in a different way that could be beneficial both for you and for all of Thala.
I'm putting something together here. Jacques, I pronounced you dead quite some time ago.
Mm. Then I got these dope mushrooms growing out of my head. It's a
I
crazy world.
see. And Xaxi, that's what you're so fascinated with, is this strange rebirth of yours. You did die.
I
And you
am
are in an interesting state of undeath. Are you more you, or are you the fungus itself? I'm starting to see the fascination, Xaxi.
It's
Maybe it's one of those weird mutants I was talking about earlier.
less
Weird stuff.
fascination and I mean, yes, obviously I'm fascinated.
Yes, don't hold your scientific brain back.
But this wasn't an accident. And I am not studying Jacques to learn what was done, but to learn how he is.
I see.
Well, death is nothing but a pathway to life. So if he died, the logical result is life.
Indeed. Well, you're not an evil dead inherently, as I see. You haven't tried to kill any of us or do anything inherently evil. That's a plus.
Chuck, you hear a couple of voices in your head.
Yes. This is what I was hoping for.
Is it the old voices, or do we still have new voices in this head? Just curious.
No. We're back to the.
It's the old voices. They're like, it's funny how they're talking about these things as if like we're not here. I know, right? I mean, it's kind of rudeness. You know, I keep telling you, maybe you should like invite them to like the colony or.
Quick interjection.
Yeah.
Because I thought about this, and this actually makes it perfect to do it. I was gonna say, as everyone was just talking of like while we aren't here, the ears start to burn, and then spore.
Yeah.
I mean, the communication spores. So you all get to hear.
Yeah. You'll hear the colony, the myconid colony inside your head as the communication spores are ejected out of shock. So, I mean, maybe we should. I mean, we could promise.
That's a good question.
Oh wait, Oh, it happened again. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hi, nice speaking to you again.
It is nice speaking to you again. You know, well, that's kind of what I said to them. I said, you know, not everyone wants. Oh, hush you! You're such a downer. I mean,
If these spores hit the ground, are there going to be little shocked spores?
I think it's just gonna make the normal mushrooms.
Okay.
Mushrooms with Jock's head and horns.
we. Oh
Does it hurt when we eat the
no!
when someone eats picks the mushrooms, does it hurt?
No, I don't think so.
No, not really.
Oh,
not
damn.
really.
Does any like the myconid spore colony die when they're like eaten? That'd be really sucky if like they like cousins and friends die. That's so sad.
Nobody ever really dies, silly.
That's true.
So we have a living myconid colony, an insomniac, and another insomniac, cleric that was reborn, and the current champion of the god of neutrality.
I'm just waiting for him to like.
One
and then we have
big
do.
happy family.
I'm just waiting for him to like and do. Like,
And do.
And Miller just kind of turns over to Zelas. It's like, are you sure I can't get a different assignment?
No.
He's like, no, bye.
Speaking-
Leaves.
Speaking of,
Teleports.
I've heard little bits of all of your stories, but Tuxil, I'm unfamiliar with yours, if you're willing to part with some of it.
Well, when you share it, you're never really parting with it, are you?
That is very true.
I come from the swamp, and I was brought to Merranzen to help create a garden for a rare flower that only grows in the swamp. And
It was a lovely swamp.
I'm sorry?
It was a very lovely swamp.
I hope it still is a very lovely swamp.
I'm sure it is. I mean, I haven't been there for a while, so I was trying to help paint the picture. Sweat profusely.
No, I appreciate it. I was very proud of it. It's a beautiful place, and I was sort of its protector, but I haven't been there for a very long time. I keep getting asked to do things for the Unifiers, and now I guess I'm being asked to do things for a god. I'm that brings us up to today in a nutshell.
Do start sweating buckets.
So,
As Tuxil is telling your story, you still have the telepathic connection from the rapport spores that has been put into you, but you get the general background feeling of it's almost like, you know, a whole bunch of kids taking a knee and like sitting and looking up and like listening to Tuxil while she's talking and telling her story. Yeah, this is the feeling you get right now. It's like they're sitting around listening to story time.
I'm just wondering if if we all hear each other's surface thoughts after she tells us this.
so
That'd be awkward.
I just noticed something.
Because technically, if we're all connected telepathically, can we hear each other's surface thoughts or no?
This one is specifically for like communication, so it will be like anything that's sort of like unfiltered, you know, that nobody's, if you're not used to like filtering the thoughts, then there would be like a couple of rumblings, but it's useful for communication.
Oh, you just hear like, and dude's like, oh man, I messed up. I'm the one that brought Tuxil out of her swamp.
Miller kind of leans forward and kind of looks around, says, so I'm starting to notice that a lot of you have kind of noble pursuits. I guess I should be honest. I'm not one of those people. I started my life as a pickpocket, then I became a thief, and then I became a killer. And after that,
question. Did you say a bucket?
A fuckhead, I believe he said.
Oh, I thought you said a bucket. I'm like you're gonna put stuff in the bucket?
Okay, out of character, I said pickpocket.
Ah,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I heard
Yes.
bucket.
I was so confused by bucket. I was like, what did he say that we messed up? I'd be like, what could that have been?
He kind of continues like, and after that, I joined the Wayfinders. So, in no uncertain terms, for all intents and purposes, I'm as some people put it, not a good person.
Which is why I've decided to take this wonderful young man under my wing and make sure that he doesn't kill the wrong people.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's the reason why you brought him here, so we can. Maybe today or tomorrow he can decide he's going to be a good person from the brilliant and beautiful inspiration by all of us wonderful people. Got you, Valentine. Don't worry, you're a great guy.
I'm going to be honest with all of you. I think you really need someone who's not afraid to get their hands dirty.
I was just about to say, for something that it sounds like you're dealing with, perhaps you don't want a good person to be at your side with this. Sometimes someone who can make the hard decisions is incredibly important.
And
You're able to see the things that we can't see.
Walking together in the dark instead of alone in the light.
I will admit that the ultimate motivations of these terrorists are beyond my comprehension. I don't understand what could be worth causing so much death and pain and destruction. And perhaps, since you two are more familiar with the darker impulses of us mortals, perhaps it's valuable insight we can use.
Well, I think I've had about all philosophy I can handle for an evening. I'm going to go to bed.
Wait, I figured it out. I worded that incorrectly. There you go, Miller and Valentine. You're not good people. You're just nice people. There's a difference there.
Good night, do. Stands up, goes to the sleeping bag,
Nice.
doffs their armor.
Miller
He
didn't
just
even deny
stands
it.
up.
It's like you see, Chuck, you didn't even deny it. I know there are teddy bears underneath all that facade.
You have a skill for looking under the facade.
They cannot. They cannot. They cannot pull the wool over this shepherd's eyes. Trust me, those are. I was about to screw up and say, something about like a married couple. Like I was like this. I was like this groom can see underneath the veil. I'm like, wait, that sounds real weird. I'm just gonna go with the shepherd instead.
Well, as different people are heading off to sleep, is there anything anyone wants to have a look at before they retire for the evening, or
I'm gonna ponder that orb.
ponder that orb?
Yeah.
All right. So amongst, yes.
I was gonna say, me and Chalk want to stay up for the first watch weekend.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good. Sure. Sure.
We'll just all go to sleep. It's fine.
Sure.
I was thinking I'd take second. I still have quite a few conditions I'd like to nap off first.
Sure.
I only need to meditate, so I don't need to sleep the whole night. So
All right. Very good. So, yes, Chuck and do taking up the first watch there. Chuck, you do pull out of the collection of artifacts and things that you had brought from the hut of the hags. And
Imagining like a picnic cloth just opened up and it just stacked.
picnic
Like
basket.
like the hobo stack.
Yeah,
with, like,
exactly right.
Yeah, yeah. And the orb itself is sort of a slightly opaque, darkish green. It is around the size of, let's say, a baseball, maybe a bit smaller than that. And it is cold to the touch. It's not particularly cold here this evening, but it is cold-ish to the touch. How would you like to inspect the orb?
Guess I would. I don't know how to justify through words the roll, but I would imagine it seems like an Arcana check. I just don't know.
Yeah, you can
like to
make
look at it for any
make
sort of magical
you can make an Arcana check if you like.
powers or any significance. Oh, I love that I just happen to have such high Arcana. But then I rolled a natural one, so start using it like a baseball.
I don't know if you. It has been a couple of days, but as a druid, I do believe you have access to enhance ability.
Enhance what?
The spell enhance ability. I don't know if you have your. I think it's a 3rd level spell, correct?
I'm not sure. Let me check. Because I don't think I have it. I might have access to it, but I don't think I have it on my.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it has been a couple of days, so if you
switch
would
one
have been
around.
able to switch one around, if you would like to use that, then you can give yourself.
I don't even know what that spell is.
There is one that gives you Well, it's basically an advantage on. You choose one of them, like charisma or intelligence or strength or whatever. So this being an intelligence check, you could do the one that gives you advantage on intelligence checks if you would like.
Okay, that sounds dope. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the. Maybe it's not one of my known spells. Hold on, trying to find it is all. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
2nd level transmutation.
Yeah, you would have access to it as a druid, so you can.
Which one's the one? You said intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Fox's cunning.
Fox's cunning. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Anything's
Sure.
better than 1.
Yeah.
Nice DM, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is.
Oh god, it's still not too much
there to help
better.
druids.
4 + 7, so 11.
11. 11 is enough for you to definitely get the feeling or the understanding of that this has to be a magical artifact of some sort. You're
good.
not really able to figure out what it might be, but you could spend some time attuning to it, or if one of your party members happens to have the identify spell, and
I was gonna say I was gonna kind of maybe toss it up and down a couple times, and then kind of toss it over to Do. Like, what do you think of this?
Huh. Let me give me a sec as he takes out his jeweler's equipment. I don't know how to do that.
I'm imagining a big,
What
like,
are you
telescope.
wanting to do specifically?
Use my I'm not sure how to use my jeweler's equipment and D&D Beyond.
Okay, so yeah, well, first you tell me what you are wanting to how are you wanting to inspect this orb? Like
Well, I
what
was gonna expect what kind of iron material it's made out of, what kind of ore it was made out of. And
Okay.
then cross associate what kind of magic, since now I have the knowledge of it possibly being magic, to being attuned to, certain ores are better with certain schools of magic.
Okay, sure. So you are proficient with your jeweler's kit?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to make this an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus.
Sweet. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. Here we go.
Roll better than I.
Haha. 21.
21. This type of the way that the orb has been shaped, and the sort of like occlusions within the different facets of it and whatnot, you get the feeling that it is some kind of pirate is not the one I'm looking for. It's some form of peridot, but it is not exactly peridot, but it is definitely a type of stone that is very useful for holding enchantments. Probably something that is perhaps divination based.
Oh. And he kind of flick it up and like the baseball thing. He's like the basketball thing. He's like, hey, I was like, what I could tell of it. I think it's something to do like a crystal, kind of like a crystal ball, in a way that when the Hags used for scrying, it was, since it was found with Hags, because it seems I feel like that would be the your best. I kind of toss it back to him. That would probably be the best conclusion I could come up with without only cross-referencing what I know.
I understand. So we can possibly scry.
Possibly, you could probably have tuned to it to know exactly what it does.
Do you have that other ball from the vault?
Yeah, gonna play with this one too.
I don't know if we should play with that one.
Oh, okay. I'll just look at. I was like, well, I guess I'll just look. I'll just guess determine what. Does it say anything, or is it just a perfectly circular sphere?
It is metallic. The inspections that have been done on it by your party members before let you know that it is a kind of metal that none of you have seen before. It is sort of it looks as if it can be moved and turned in different ways to perform different functions. And it does have a sort of greenish lines on it, on the sort of separations where things can be moved and configured to a different way. It does look quite like very arcanotic to the eye.
So what would you? What would you like to do with this on chalk? 'Cause I think we should probably be a little more careful with this one.
While he's, I've sort of like gotten
I
low.
wasn't goofing. I wasn't goofing. I wasn't goofing around with it. Like I just picks it out of the bag instead
and
of spinning around or anything.
I crawl. I'm like closer to where I'm still imagining it as a pile on a picnic, like Matt. But I'm like on my hands real low to it, and I'm like flicking through stuff, like pushing through the gold and platinum. And I wanna flick open the ornate wooden box.
All right, very good.
While whatever you were just saying, do I like?
Oh,
I want.
I thought since you asked about the ore, I was like, yeah, sure. What do you want with it?
I'm like, huh? As I flick open this box.
Yes, one
You
of
hear this
the
click sound. I didn't touch it. Throws it.
one of
blows
the
up.
one of the other things that you had recovered is a very well crafted sort of ornate wooden box. It's about the size of a jewelry box, and it opens up. Inside it there is a sort of red velvet leather lining, and sat at the center is what appears to be a metal cube. A metal cube. It also has a number of different lines on it, and sort of sigils and different facets on it. It's very interesting to look at. It looks, this very much looks like something that you've seen in markets and such before, but this looks more like a puzzle box than anything else, but it has been kept inside this specific case.
Does it kind of look like a Rubik's cube?
Not really. It's funny that Chuck that Dom mentioned, you know, the whole Cenobite thing. This looks more like that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hellraiser. Here we
Yeah,
go.
this looks more like, you know, that kind of puzzle
Dude
box.
Dude just puts back puts back the metallic ore back into his bag, and he picks up this. He picks up the like, you know, the rod, and tries absorbing with it.
All right. The rod itself. So first, make me an investigation check.
Okay, investigation.
Go,
And-
Bard, go.
What would you like to do with this box there, Chuck?
I feel like I would just have to try and solve the puzzle.
All right, make
Like,
me
that would be my initial.
make me an intelligence check. You still have the effect of Fox's cunning on you. It lasts for an hour, I believe, so you would be doing that with
Sounds
advantage.
Dope. The
18.
Hellraisers are coming. There's no stopping it now.
18.
Where did my dice go?
Yeah.
All right, so.
Oh,
You begin to look over this rod, and it is around you know, if you've ever had like boba tea, the thickness of those straws, they're quite a bit thicker so that the balls of boba can come through. So it's around that thickness, and it is about, I would say, probably 8 inches in length, and you are looking over this rod, and you can tell in the firelight that it definitely has some kinds of runes inscribed on it. You're not entirely sure of the kind of metal, but it looks possibly platinum. But something you do see that there is a spot on this rod near the about 3/4 of the way down from the top, or 1/4 of the way down from the top, depending on which way you're holding it. But it looks as if it is a spot that you could probably put a thumb while holding it.
Hey, Chuck, buddy. Lingarian Leviosa. shoots out a fireball, blows up a tree. I didn't do it. Throws it back into the thing.
All right.
Uh,
So Chuck, what did you get on your puzzle
sorry,
box
it was
roll?
an intelligence roll, you said?
Intelligence roll, yes.
So 11 plus 3, 14.
11 plus 3. You begin to try and go through this puzzle box, and you open a few flaps, as it were, of the top, and you are able to shift around certain pieces and move it into a different configuration. And there's a brief, almost warble kind of feeling in the air, a little bit of a shake, and then it continues to sort of hold there for a while, and then the box sort of like clicks and moves back into its original state.
Dude, like, wow, that's neat.
I don't think I figured. I think there's more to this. I don't think I got the whole.
I believe in you, Chuck. But one more time. Bardic inspiration.
Is that how that works?
Well, yeah. If
I
you
just
want
give
to,
it to you.
if you want to try again,
Sure.
what dice does he get for the Bardic Inspiration?
1d12.
1d12. All right. So roll another intelligence check with advantage, and then
I was wrong. 1d10. My bad.
and then you can also
I
roll.
overestimated myself.
You can add a d10 on top of
A
that.
D10.
I overestimated my abilities.
This one, I believe. Yes. Yes. Oh wow, that's a 10.
Okay.
So 25 plus 3.
25.
8, 28.
28.
Now the Cinnabites come.
You are able to, with Dew's
Just the
kind
omnitrix.
words. So did you roll? You rolled your intelligence check with advantage, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you are able to get a lot further in this manipulation of this box, and you get to one point where the sort of warbling hazy effect in the air is actually almost beginning to shake the ground just a little bit, and it feels as if you are just at the cusp of being able to make one more correct turn, but it just won't click. And then it sort of the haziness in the air pulses for a second and sort of knocks you and do back a little bit, not in like off your feet. And then the box returns back to its original configuration. It is a very high DC.
I look at it for a while and then I toss it back in. I think that's a Xaxi problem. I close the box. I push it back.
Sounds good. So we still haven't seen anything during our watch.
Not yet. You have been
I think I've been
playing.
looking.
You have been playing. With the rod, are you going to do anything more with it? Would you like to try and attune to it, or that orb, Chuck? Would you like to try and attune to either of those?
I think it'd be wrong if we didn't ask the party if they wanted to try.
I mean, if it's just trying to figure out what you want to do with it, it's entirely up to you.
Well, Chuck, I mean, if someone else wants it, if someone else wants it, if me and you attune to it, we can just give it to someone else if it would suit them better. And at least we would know what happened at the last hour.
I'm not particularly dedicated. I just wanted to look through the loot while I was here.
I was saying, it gives something to kill time. So yeah, I
shiny
guess
and pretty.
We'll try attuning to the rod just to see what it does.
Excellent. So during your watch, you don't need to roll perception checks. You are all good. Nothing untoward happens on your watches there, but you do spend a bit of time sort of focusing in on and honing in on this rod. And
I'm hitting it with a spoon, making like making it like, what is it called? The tuning forks.
Yeah. If there was a tool that you needed right now, what would be the first thing that would pop into your mind?
thieves' tools, I guess.
It can be any kind of thing you might use, like a tool or even a weapon or whatever. But if you're thinking of thieves' tools,
Key.
a key.
Yeah, keys are good.
All right, so you are focusing in on this, and your finger is on the point. Your thumb is on the point there, where you could hold it as if it were a wand or whatever, and you're holding it for a while, and you're thinking about, we're going home. Do I have my keys? And the rod sort of almost Terminator 2 style morphs into liquid and then turns into a perfect replica of your house keys.
Wow.
This is what is known as this is completely almost useless for this item because you do not need +2 house keys. Because they are your house keys, which are now a +2 house key. But this is called a rod of requirement. It can become any tool or weapon that you need, and is classed as a +2 of its variety.
Holy crap! Does that mean like if I wanted like a sword, it would come out a sword?
Yeah. It takes it takes an action to change its shape. But you can
I change it into a pen and get the pen sword.
If you need it to be a pen, it can be a pen, but it is called a rod of requirement. It is not in D&D
cool.
Beyond, but I can probably make it. But you can just add it into your inventory.
Cool stuff. That's the coolest stuffing, man. I've always wanted the pen sword from the Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Get one of those.
It pretty much that is what it is essentially. But yeah, it's a rod of requirement.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really
That
cool.
is cool. That is cool. Wow! Tell people. Oh my God! Tell them when they wake up about that.
Well, as the two of you finish up your watch and wake Xaxi, Tuxil, you are still kind of in the middle of your meditation there, but you're welcome to take watch with Xaxi if you would like, or just continue with your meditation. Up to you.
Well, you can wake up Huntmaster Kutzal.
Celeste.
Celeste. Why am I saying? Oh man, I'm mixing up everybody's names. Or you can go wake up Valentine to see if that's a great idea.
I do want to ask, with the transformation with the wings.
Yes.
Are these wings out? These new wings out all the time the way my dragonfly wings were out, or is it a little different?
Actually, it is a little bit different. You can manifest them.
So I can walk around without them.
Mm-hmm.
Is it normal that they're gone? I guess is the question.
It would be very weird for you to be without wings.
Yeah.
You'd no longer have your dragonfly wings. So you probably might even keep them out all the time. It's entirely up to you. Might be a reflexive sort of action of like, oh wait, they're gone. No, where are they? Oh, okay, they're back. Oh, thank God.
Actually, I'll if Xaxi looks, they'll see Tuxil off kind of sitting on a rock by themselves, sort of concentrating and trying to keep dragonfly wings out, but they're not staying out. Every once in a while they kind of poof into feathers and then disappear. And you can kind of see her struggling with that, sitting on a rock off by themselves.
Yeah, Xaxi absolutely would walk over to Tuxil and sit down on the rock next to her and what is it like?
What is what like?
To be chosen.
It feels it doesn't feel like being chosen. It kind of feels like it's chance, like it could have been anyone.
I don't know if it could have been anyone. It maybe didn't have to be you, but of all of us that were there, I think that it only could have been you.
I will shift on the rock and turn my back to you. And where the purple and turquoise dragon mark was, now you see like a white opalescent dragon mark that goes up Tuxil's back. What does it look like?
It's beautiful. It's purple. Like an orchid you would find in the middle of a swamp.
Okay.
Is it in the same shape as it used to be?
It's in the same shape, but instead of being purple and turquoise, now it's like a white opalescent.
Oh, it's a white opalescence. I'm sorry, white opalescence. No, it's white now. It glows.
When you gain something, you have to give something, I guess.
Everything is at a cost.
That's
And
true.
I think sometimes you just have to make sure that what you gain is worth the price you paid.
I'm having a hard time taking my rest. Maybe if you're taking your watch, I could stay up with you.
Of course. I value your company, and I would be lying if I said I'm not curious as to what you're going through.
If I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Well, if you want my assistance, you have it. I can also just sit with you quietly.
Thank you. Maybe we'll start there.
Of course. It's been a few very long, very illuminating days. Lots of new questions.
Hopefully questions with answers, and I'll take the staff and lay it across my lap and just kind of let my knee touch Xaxi's knee, just kind of like, so I know that they're there, and try and close my eyes and try and meditate if I can, but it's difficult.
I will, as we're sitting next to each other, I would like to do two things. I would like to spend a key point, and at the on my knee, like underneath the pants I'm wearing, you can kind of see like a bright glow going through the cloth there. So where my knee is touching Xaxi's, I would like to use my healing hand and just sort of give them a couple hit points. And also, I don't know if you've got any active conditions like blinded or deafened or paralyzed, poisoned, anything like that, but I can remove that as well.
No, but I was down hit points.
Hey, like I thought, it's a little thing I can do. Let's see, where is it? 1d8 plus 3. 6, that's 9.
I'll take it.
And then I would also like to use, I have a minor illusion, and I would like to just make a little dragonfly that sort of floats up in my hand. It kind of glows a little bit to sort of be a nice little distraction.
You see Tuxil smile just a little bit, and then through her closed eye, you just see a tear roll down her cheek.
As you feel Xaxi's energy sort of wash into you, and you take note of the dragonfly and have this moment, you do feel the world around you begin to disappear in that familiar, comfortable way of meditation. Being near the river, there's the sound of crickets that sort of like fill the air, and it's very, very quiet, and that hum of the crickets is all you hear as you are pulled into your meditation. And Xaxi, you're sat there as well, and you can hear the crickets, and you're keeping watch. But for you, the cricket sounds slow down and stop. And your little illusion of the dragonfly is also stopped. And seated quite, well, not super close to you, but a respectful distance to you on another rock near the river, is a very well dressed, purple skinned, exceptionally handsome, devilish looking man with horns that curl behind his ears ever so, and a bit of a smile on his face, and says, "Well, I thought this might be a nice time to have a little chat. Your friend seems occupied, and, well, everyone else is sleeping, so it's a pleasure to meet you, Xaxi."
Is this Ipswich or just somebody else?
It's not Ipswich.
It's not Ipswich. Okay, just making sure, because said imp. I went Ipswich. I was like, okay, making sure that I wasn't being
Ipswich would love to be so suave.
right? Like, I didn't think it was so swap. Oh God. Just attack me. All right. So yeah, Zashi's gonna sit, legs crossed, hands out, look over to this devil creature in front of them and say, "You know my name. What is yours?"
I forget, we haven't been formally introduced, have we? Well, it's part of the reason why I'm here, you see. Unfortunately, my dear Ipswich was very, very naughty, trying to make his own deals outside of my purview, thinking that I wouldn't find out. I have many names, but you may call me Lo.
Lo. Well, Lo, as you can see, my friends and I, we are safe. We are free of that place. And I don't think we have need of you or Ipswich or your deals right now.
Perhaps. However, Ipswich is not the best negotiator. If you will have a look at that contract that he had tried to get you to sign, you'll find it a bit more legible to yourself at this point in time. And will you pull out the contract?
Oh yeah. I've pulled it out. I am looking at it.
It's no longer in Infernal, but it's very basically written legalese, but it amounts to, yeah, I'll work for you, but you have to do a favor for me anytime I ask you to do a favor, and you can't say no. But I'll still be your familiar and your imp, but you have to do the favors that I want you to do. It's a very naughty boy. I can't imagine that you signing that would have been any good for you at all.
Are you suggesting that making a deal with you would be better?
Infinitely. You are a person of knowledge and desire for expansion of the mind and the body and all that entails. I'm sure I could be of some assistance there. You have many questions. I might have answers.
You might have answers. Or do you have the answers?
I say might because it depends on the question.
I barely a few hours ago told some dear people that I trust and protect that everything has a cost.
Indeed.
What is your price for these questions you may or may not answer?
Well, I do like a scientist. Nothing sordid, I assure you. Very simple. Should you enter into a bargain with me, I will grant you Ipswich as a familiar, without reserve. He might be able to choose a different form that would be less, and he looks towards the sleeping form of Miller, a hostility provoking. Also,
That would be required, I think.
Well, think of this more as my disciplining one under my authority. That's more for me than it is for you, but as far as what I would like out of a bargain, very simple thing. To the north, around 6 or 7 months' journey by airship, you will find a lone
By what?
airship.
Airship. 7 months by airship? Okay.
You will find a lone monastery, the foothills of a mountain, in the village of Shiral. All that I ask is that you enter into their courtyard and remove a single pebble.
Where do I take this pebble if I were to undertake such a long and tempestuous journey?
That is entirely up to you. All I ask is that you take a single pebble from the courtyard. Anyone will do, really. You
If
do
I
not
refuse
have to
you
go at this exact point in time, but there will be some point in the future which I will ask you to do it.
What do you know about this symbol? And I hold out that symbol of the 3 chords all twined together, the one that, freaked out Tharizdun, the one that we've seen everywhere. Hold it out to Lo. If I asked you questions about this, could you answer them?
I could.
It has been an exceptionally long day, and I am possibly not at my best. Can I give you an answer tomorrow?
Of course. And I will do you one better. I will allow you to write the wording of the contract.
I will keep that in mind.
Well, I think this could be a very beneficial relationship for the both of us. I will leave you with one question before I let you continue with your watch unimpeded. Do you know what our function is within this world? The devils, my kind. Do you know why we exist?
No.
There's a reason why we enjoy contracts. Ours, across the multiverse, has been the gift of language. We hold words. We were the first to give sound and form and meaning to them. This is why we hold contracts. Without us, there is no poetry, there is no music, there are no written stories, there are no contracts, there are no scientific journals with which to peruse. We hold language. I thought you might like to know that.
That is enlightening.
Well, I shan't take up any more of your time. I'll see you soon, Xaxi.
I'm sure of it.
And he bows his head and disappears, and the hum of crickets come back into the world, and the rest of your watch passes without incident. And as you all begin to come to your consciousness and the day's travel, it takes you roughly around 2 more days before you are able to see the confines of the outskirts of the city of Merranzen. The first thing that happens is that once you are back within the confines of Merranzen, you are again able to use your communicators to some of the guild masters across those distances. And you do get a ping from do you? Well, actually, all of you that have the communicators, which would be Xaxi and Shaka and Tuxil, do. You get a ping from Lady Shan. You're back in the city, thank goodness. When you all have time, please come round. I'm feeling much better now.
I whispered Xaxi and Xaxi and Tuxil. I whispered to them like, "Wow, word travels fast."
I think it's the communicator.
We're home.
Oh yeah, guys, did I show you the cool thing? Look, and I show them the key.
You see a set of house keys.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the
Watch this.
strongest house keys you've ever seen.
And you watch it and turn into like a little ooze. It comes out and shoots out and makes a Triton. And he's like, "Isn't that cool?"
That is cool.
It was very interesting.
It was that one thing that we found from the iron at the as he's like twirling around the iron Triton. He goes, that we found on with the hags. I tuned to it to see what it did. So yeah, anybody interested in something that can turn basically into anything that you need?
You don't want that?
That
Why
seems
is
like a do kind of item. if
Oh,
I'm
I,
being
could,
real
I,
with
mean, I
you.
wanted to. I felt like to offer it, just to see if anyone else wanted it instead of just saying I call dibsies because dude's not that kind of guy.
No, he just tunes with it first.
Yeah, it was to see what it was.
I know.
Well, everyone else is fine with me having it. I'll keep it.
You never know if you're going to lose your keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple other things in there. We're not really sure what they are.
Yeah. And then me and Chalk decided not to mess around with the metallical sphere we found. Oh wait, you don't know about that, Valentine. We found this metallical sphere inside of the vault that stopped golems.
It's not the fact that I'm pausing at the magical sphere. It's the fact that we're messing with magical spheres while I'm asleep is the point of concern.
We weren't messing with them. We were studying and analyzing them for future prosperity.
I mean, as long as you weren't tossing them back and forth across the campfire,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No,
I would
we weren't
never.
doing that. We would never do that. Me and Chuck are way more trustworthy than that, right? Right, Shashi? You don't think me and Chuck would ever be so immature and childish? I'm appalled.
I will look forward to reading your experimental notes. Which I am certain are legible and thorough.
The rod of requirement becomes a pencil.
He's like, of course, I'll get to those right after we're done with those. What's profusely. Bright side is being a bard, writes all the time. Dude's good at that, but he didn't take no notes. I'll get to him right after I'm done with him teach. Right after the homework's done, I get him right to you.
Maybe we should go home and then
It's
see
time to
Lady
cram.
Sean.
Chalk.
It would be nice to sleep in our own beds again.
Mm-hmm.
I would like very much to be in my own home.
There we go, Tuxil. Now you can go back to your swamp and see how nice it looks.
I don't think that's what we mean by home.
That's just disregarding.
I think we should go back to the guild house and then go see Lady Sean.
And on
So
that,
let's back to what guild are we going to specifically?
the Unifiers.
Fires.
Awesome, cool. That means I know the unit. Don't worry. Tuxil, I got a surprise for you when we get there. It's gonna make you feel much better.
And
I take pride in
on that note of a random surprise waiting for Tuxil at the Guild of Unifiers.
No, I was gonna show her that one place that I. No, never mind.
We are going to pause there for next week's stream. Thank you all so much for watching tonight. And aside from a few technical bugs, we had a good time. I had a good time. All right. Lovely to be with you all. And yeah, we will see you all next time. We love you. Bye bye.